Castle Night House. Today I am making a video that I've been meaning to make for about 4 years, but I didn't have, in my opinion, enough things to show to warrant a video. But now, because of wonderful patron Jeffrey, and because of the gifts of some of my friends, I can make a video as part of my Geeky Tingles series, where I talk about my love for Ghibli, or Studio Ghibli. So I'll be showing you a few things that I own, and talking about why I like the animation studio. Okay. I hope you're all doing very, very well today. I know that I am. So this is a massive poncho. It's Totoro. Totoro is a big symbol of Studio Ghibli. It was, I think, the first, if not one of the first, movies that Studio Ghibli animated and created. It has a silly hood. Oof. Yep. Big. I'm only going to assume ears. It's very silly, but extremely cozy. I'm just going to make a few sounds with the material. My neighbour Totoro is a really sweet children's movie. I have a print for here. I think the Japanese original title is Totodonari no Totoro. I got that right. The movie came out in 1988. It's set in post-war rural Japan. And it's about Mei and her big sister Satsuki, and Totoro, who is a big, giant, friendly forest spirit, resides in the oak tree there where they live. Sort of a slice of life. It's a very sweet story. I think that it's just so beautiful to watch, and although it's very simplistic and not many things happen, I think it's just such a cute, calming, and just beautiful piece of animation. Now, there were movies that came out before this, notably Oscar Valley of the Winds, which was directed by Hayao Miyazaki. But it was before Ghibli actually formed into an animation studio. Same with Castle of Cagliostro. Can't speak. So there are quite a few movies that Hayao Miyazaki actually created. But he is essentially known as like the godfather of modern anime. I first started having an interest in Ghibli when I was 7 years old. My auntie had watched a few movies in university and she thought that I'd like it because I had this weird obsession with walls. So she showed me Princess Mononoke, which is a, I guess you could say, political, ecological action animation. Let's put this down. It's set in the 14th century around the protagonist Ashitaka. He is banished from his home as he gets infected by a evil spirit of the forest. He goes out to try and find a cure for the infection that is slowly eating away at him. The story kind of focuses a lot on the harmony between the traditional Japanese belief of gods, the harmony of nature, and the industrialization of Japan. The thing I really like about Miyazaki's works is that he doesn't tend to choose an antagonist who is completely in the wrong. He tends to he believes in people being fluid, that not everyone is a complete villain, and that everybody has their reasonings. So I guess you could say antagonist who tries to fight these gods, traditional gods of the forest. She had her own reasons to why she's doing so, because she's trying to protect the people of her town from the forest gods. She is the Queen of Irontown. And it's just a very, very interesting movie. Obviously, when I was a kid, I mostly just loved the action and the character development. I was obsessed with wolves. So that was the reason why I fell in love with Princess Mononoke. Mononoke High, I think is the original name. Okay. I'm just going to show you a couple of other things. This is a submite, I think they're called. These appear in two of the two Hayao Miyazaki movies, in Spirited Away and in My Neighbor Totoro. And I think they're absolutely adorable. This was sent to me by Jeffrey again, so thank you. I think I'll use it on my tree as a little bauble. Make some sound. So cute. In Totoro, these were little creatures that hurried around empty houses. They're literally the embodiment of dust. This is also designed by Studio Ghibli. Yeah, it's made in China. The sound. Brings us to the, I think it's the second Ghibli movie that I watched, and I think one of the few, if not the only, anime to win an Oscar. That Spirited Away. I love the beautiful art and the hand-drawn animation. The work that goes into every frame is absolutely magnificent. So this animation is about 10-year-old Chihiro, who stumbled upon an abandoned amusement park whilst her and her parents were driving to their new house in the country. They were lured in by the smell of fresh food. But Chihiro didn't want to eat any of it because she found the place creepy. Her parents were then turned into pigs. And Chihiro's mission is to save her parents from the curse. I absolutely loved this movie. I think it's perhaps it's difficult rating them. Second or third Hayao Miyazaki movie. And I love it because you see her develop as a character, grow stronger, form into an adult, find her own sense of purpose, her own strength within herself, with only a bit of help from the people around her. It also has a lot of links to traditional Japanese folklore. It's also quite funny. I think this was the second highest grossing anime film of all time. It is in 2001 when it was released. I think most Ghibli movies are dubbed by professional actors. That's because I think Disney has ownership, some form of ownership over the studio, and they do, in my opinion, a pretty good job at dubbing the movies. Some big names being, I think, Patrick Stewart and Christian Bale. From Spirited Away. This is No Face, who appears sort of as an antagonist in the beginning part of the movie, but then changes. There's a reason to says hug. I'm going to have a nerdy Christmas tree this year. It's a bit dusty. But again, it's hard to list my second favourite Hayao Miyazaki movie was Howl's Moving Castle. I fell in love with this when I was a kid. I remember when it was released in 2004. I desperately wanted to see it at the cinemas. This is a film from the original movie. You can see it. It's from the first scene when Sophie first meets Al. So, the original, this is actually based off a book by Dan Wynne-Jones, a Welsh author, who was originally supposed to be set in Wales, or a fantastical version of Wales. And it's about Sophie, who's here, if you can see it. Oh, that glare is bad. Sophie works in a hat shop, and she quite likes her simple life, but she feels as though she doesn't really like herself, doesn't really know herself properly. And then when she's out, she meets the dashing wizard Howl, who saves her from these rather creepy soldiers. She gets whisked away and saved by him. But then the antagonist, the Witch of the Waste, she isn't happy with the fact that Hal seems to be taking a liking to Sophie. So she turns Sophie into an old woman. The spell means that she can't talk about it. She ends up walking away from her family, from the hat shop, and goes off to try and find the Witch of the Waste to reverse the spell. And on her way, she comes across Hal and his moving castle. I think it's such a beautiful, romantic movie. I don't usually like romance in movies, but I think it's done quite well. Not a little corny at times. Howl is voiced by Christian Bale. The Witch of the Waste is voiced by Lauren Bacall, one of my favourite actresses from Hollywood's golden age. I definitely recommend watching it. It's such a beautiful, beautiful movie. And as for all Ghibli movies, the soundtrack is incredible. I'm actually going on a trip to visit the place where they were inspired. It's called Colmar. It's in France. Hopefully I'll be there sometime next year. It's a beautiful fairy tale-esque town. God, that glare is bad. Okay. Well, for the Ghibli movies that I absolutely love, I don't have much to show you though, but I could talk about it. I really loved Porco Rosso as a child. It's a beautiful story about a pig man who rides a plane set in Italy. It's about him and his curse, and how he's come to live with the curse. It's kind of a romance as well. It's really beautiful. But I quite like that. Ghibli's actually named after a Italian plane because Miyazaki is obsessed with aircraft, and you can see that in a lot of his movies. One of the probably most another critically acclaimed movie, which was supposed to be Miyazaki's last, is The Wind Rises. If you're interested in historical movies, especially if you're interested in World War II, it's a very intriguing perspective, a very interesting look at the Japan's view of the war. It's basically about a hero, Jiro Horikoshi. It's a true story of his obsession with aircraft and creating beautiful planes. He created the A6M World War II fighter plane, and it talks about his life, his love and loss, and what I like about it is the fact that it's not talking about Japan's stance on war. It's just focusing on this one man's ambition and love for aviation and creating beautiful pieces of engineering. And that's what I really like about it. What I like about a lot of Miyazaki's movies, they don't tend to take one side, they tend to take a different perspective. I truly appreciate it. It's very beautiful. I think probably one of my favourite, even though not technically produced by Studio Ghibli, is the movie Grave of the Fireflies. It's a very emotional depiction of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the subsequent fire bombings. It's about these two children who lose their house, lose their family, and they wander around trying to survive. It's an important movie to watch. Its symbolism and the artistry that goes into it is absolutely incredible. I definitely think it should have got a lot more praise than it did, and I think it's a really important movie to watch. I think it's definitely one of my favourites. An interesting thing about it is it's such a beautiful heralding movie. They actually were animating, in the animation studio they were animating Grave of the Fireflies at the same time as they were animating My Neighbor Totoro, which is a carefree, childish movie, a little slice of life. So they would usually show it back to back as well, which I wouldn't personally do, but I guess if you watch a very tugging on your heartstrings, emotional movie, it's very deep, it would be nice to watch a carefree movie after that. I don't know. But I just thought I'd mention Grave of the Fireflies. It's definitely one of my favourite animated movies. But it's sometimes difficult to watch, if that makes any sense. So yeah, they're some of my favourite Ghibli movies. I pretty much like all of them, pretty much. Well, there's a few. I don't personally like Tales of Mercy, which was created by Goro Miyazaki, Miyazaki's son. It's not great, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you like it, that's really cool. You could enjoy something that I couldn't enjoy. As for other movies, I quite like. Oh wait, as for other movies I don't like, sorry. I don't really like Pompoko that much. It's weirdly inappropriate. It's not my cup of tea, but if you're interested in watching a very strange movie, then go ahead. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this quite geeky video. There are quite a few movies I didn't mention, but I definitely recommend trying a few out. If you don't like anime necessarily, it's not like typical anime. It's very different. That's what I really like about it. Ghibli is essentially timeless. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll make more geeky videos like this in the future. And thanks again to Jeffrey for the wonderful, wonderful gifts this Christmas. I truly, truly appreciate it. Anyway, good night. Hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Good night.
Thank you to all of my amazing Patreons. A special thank you to Apollo, Chad Ash, David Hunter, Jeffrey Lowe, Keith Carrick, Mark Pollock, Objective Advocate, Patrick Moffat, Steve Lachlan, and Tony Simpson. You're all wonderful.